Hi guys. I'm super duper nervous. Ugh. Okay, so I'm starting a new YouTube channel. My dogs are about to start barking. I don't know who's at my door. Um, so I've had a pretty excuse me, ma'am. Go downstairs and bark. Thank you. I've had a pretty wild 3 months and I don't know who's outside my house, but my dogs are going crazy. I've had a pretty wild past 3 months. Um, and I have some notes here, and I'm super nervous. And I'll explain why I'm nervous in a little bit. So, my personal journey um, is that I've had a lot of personal trauma, and people in my sphere don't always understand that. And I've said for years that nobody can write your own narrative because how you feel is how you feel, and how you feel is coming from a real place. So, definitely I've been through a lot of trauma. And for years I've tried to figure out how to deal with those traumas the best way I can. And the best way I thought I knew how to deal with those traumas have not been the best way. They have not yielded the best results. And that fact slammed me in my head about 3 months ago. And it started me spiraling down this spiritual journey. And 3 months later, I really sat on a lot of things. I kind of stopped a lot of things, and I sat on things, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like surrender everything and wait for guidance on what I should be doing next, what I should be doing in my life to help me feel more joyful and help the people around me to feel more joyful. And so that is what I did. And I'm feeling nervous right now because I'm feeling very much so called to hop on YouTube and share my journey and the reason why. Let me not get ahead of myself. Let me look at my notes over here. I wanted to talk about, okay, so I talked about my trauma. I talked about I have had pretty much all of my life. I've had like passive suicidal ideation, which, if you guys are unfamiliar with that, passive suicidal ideation is like where you're not quite in the place where you would actually like commit suicide, but you think about it a lot. You think about it a lot. You kind of want to check out. You're kind of like, you don't feel like you fit in this world. And there's actually a reason for that, but I definitely experienced feelings of like not really fitting in here on the planet Earth and wanting to go wherever. If going somewhere is in a dark void somewhere, like I wanted to go. I remember in middle school, we were like writing poetry, and we had to write or draw pictures that went with the poetry. And I cannot remember what the name of this poem was, but I wrote a poem that was pretty depressing. And the picture that went with the poem was like a person like in a hole, in a dark hole. And so I just remember for like since I can remember, I just remember like wanting to be just wanting to disappear, like just wanting to like be in that dark hole and not have to think about the thoughts of life and all those things. And that all of that sounds very depressing to our human brains, right? But I've had a lot of kind of understanding about those feelings and where those feelings come from. And just so you know, my dogs have not been barking all day long. As soon as I go live on YouTube, here they go with all their barking. So that's great. Um, so then also, so I suppressed a lot. I had a lot of emotions, and I suppressed a lot of those emotions. And I don't want to go too in depth with a lot of the I mean I have multiple sclerosis. I can talk about that. I have multiple sclerosis, and that has really had an impact on my life, my ability to be financially stable, and all those things. I'm currently on disability and Section 8, and like I was not happy about. I mean, like I was happy to have it, but I was not happy to be. I felt forced in this financial hole, like this poverty hole, and even though I probably felt more resentful for being in that poverty hole than I felt grateful for having that income and having that stability. Um, and one of the overwhelming feelings that I've had over the past 3 months was just gratefulness. Gratefulness that I do have that income, even though it's not a lot, even though it keeps me in a poverty hole. A poverty hole is better than being on the streets, living on the streets and stuff like that. Um, so I learned to be grateful that I do have that income and that I don't have to worry about housing and all of those things. And that because I don't have to worry about those things, it allowed me to just sit, to just surrender, to just like pause, like everything in life and just reflect and learn and receive messages from my spirit guides and all of these things. And I just want to um I wanted to talk about my overflow, my emotional overflow, because that started happening in about 5 years ago. And the emotional overflow, if you've ever experienced it, it probably started a little earlier than 5 years ago. Because I had a I think there's a term for it, but I like to call it a near death experience. In 2014, I had a very bad MS relapse that had me totally unable to move. I was totally paralyzed. I could move my head, but I couldn't move anything else. I was totally bedbound. I was unable to speak, unable to eat or drink. Um, and yeah, like I've definitely received. That was a huge message from the spirit world for sure, and that message was because I had moved to Arizona at the time because I was pretty much trying to like run away from problems that I had here in Michigan. And that was a huge message from the spirit world saying, no, 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 no. These problems that you have in Michigan are kind of at the core of of your soul mission, and you need to work these problems out. And at the time it didn't throw me into a spiritual awakening or anything, but but I definitely did receive the message that, oh, I guess the universe does not want me moving to Arizona. So I went back to Michigan, but at the time I did have small spiritual experiences, like experiences that, like, especially if you didn't believe in spiritual experiences, you could definitely explain the experiences I had away. You could explain it away as just like I heard somebody call my name, um to the point where I like looked. I'm in bed now and I'm totally paralyzed, and I looked behind me and I was like, who's calling my name? And I was like, oh, there's a wall there. um I also have a vivid, and if I was an artist, I would have drawn a picture of this a long time ago, but I'm not an artist. So there is no rendering. It's just in my mind, but I remember, so I'm totally paralyzed and I can't eat or drink. And I remember swimming in this big, beautiful, bright pool and drinking in all the water, which I couldn't currently do any of that in that moment. So that feels like a spiritual experience to me, although you could explain it away as just like a daydream or whatever. But I personally just, I felt at the time like it was a spiritual experience. And since I've been on this spiritual journey, I feel even more that that was a spiritual experience. Um, I just had this very strong like feeling that I wasn't alone. I'm like the ninth member of my family to get MS. And so I had a very strong feeling that I was not, that all of the members of my family who have come before me and passed away have been through what I've been through. They know my pain and they're with me. And that actually really put me at ease. You know, it really made me feel peaceful. And now I feel like they absolutely were with me. I don't have any evidence to back that up, but I just feel more sure that they were with me. Um, I'm looking at my notes because I'm so nervous. I have notes to guide me. I also wanted to just put out there that I've been an atheist like almost all my life. And so that's one of the reasons why this is so nerve-wracking to me, because anyone who knows me is like, what is she talking about? Like, because I actually, like, a lot of my friends are atheists, and there's like, atheism is not a dirty word to me at all. Like, I know for a lot of people, actually, religion is, I don't want to say religion is a dirty word, but religion, my dogs are Rosie and Candy. Rosie and Candy. Come here. Hey, okay, hello. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, babies. Look, this is Candy. Say hi. Hey, this is Rosie. Say hi. Okay, thank you for making yourselves known. Now go lay down, please. Go lay down. They've been quiet all morning. As soon as I turn on this live stream and start going crazy, they must feel an energy. They must feel an energy. But I wanted to mention that before, like literally before 3 months ago, I would have called myself an atheist. I think I was definitely tapped into, if anything, I would have called myself like more spiritual or more tapped into the universe. Like that felt more right to me. Religion, I just have a problem with the judgment of religion. I've always had a problem with that. Like if God is love, what's with like hell? Like I could never make peace with that idea. So that's part of the reason that I was always atheist. But I don't want to go into that too much because I do think that religion serves its purpose in people's lives. I don't want to anybody to feel like I'm down on religion, because it's definitely not that. It's more of, um everybody has their own path, everybody has their own journey, and for some people, picking a religious path is the path that helps lead them toward source or God, or whatever you want to call the creator of the universe. So religion has its place. It's I would say that the reason that I don't feel it's right for me is because I think that religion can create a lot of confusion in the world, and it doesn't sit right with me. But I do think that I received a message the other day that spirit beings, we on humans, we want peace on earth. We want everything to be peaceful, right? But this is the thing. Spirit beings don't want or desire peace on earth because there's peace in heaven. Like there's already peace. There's already an environment where all there is peace and love and understanding and all those things. There's not forgiveness isn't even necessary. Forgiveness isn't even necessary because people don't do mean things to each other in heaven. You know what I'm saying? So peace on earth is not a necessity for spiritual beings. Um, what they really desire is harmony on earth, right? Harmony. So there's the yin and the yang. Rosie, Rosie, don't run in here. Don't run in here. Calm down. Calm down. Go sit. Go sit. Be calm. Be calm. I know there's an energy that's firing you guys up right now. There's an energy that look at. So my dogs right now, my dogs are a very big indicator right now of the energy that is pulsating through my house just from me going live. Just from me listening to the messages from the universe, my spirit guides, my intuition. There's energy related to that, and my dogs are being affected by it right now. And so that's what's going on because literally before I went live, they were not running around the house and barking and tripping like they are right now. But that's like an example of how once you get tapped into the spirit world, you can like see the reason for everything. Like my dogs are barking right now. Why are they barking? You know? Yeah, there's people outside, but they're also just like hyped up in general, and they weren't that way. So what's the reason for that? And it's like I can see those reasons so much more clearly than I could 3 months ago. So okay, over the past 3 months, there's been a progression of thought, and so when I say I receive messages, I don't hear voices or anything like that. It's more through for me, it's more through intuition and everyone is different. And who knows, as I progress in my spiritual journey, that may be different as well. But right now, I receive messages through intuition. So YouTube has been a big part of that. And I think I tagged Next Level Soul. Hey Alex, what's up? Man, if I got a message from Alex Ferrari, I would shit my pants because he's the best. And I probably shouldn't be cussing on here, but he is the best. And I love you, Alex. And actually, Alex is why he is the vessel through which I was able to awaken. Because literally, like, my awakening happened through discovering near death experiences, and the near death experiences that I began to watch and investigate were through Alex's channel, Next Level Soul. And I was blown away. And I remember thinking in the beginning, so these things were popping up through my YouTube, and I was in crisis because something happened that threw me into crisis that short circuited my programming and made me surrender and just stop everything and say, okay, I'm going to listen to the messages that are coming in from the universe. And so I was watching YouTube because I don't have anything else to do. I don't work. I'm on disability. I was doing Mary Kay, and I was very, and and like I was throwing myself into that, and I love Mary Kay cosmetics. And I think that actually Mary Kay was an important part of my awakening because whenever you think your awakening started, it actually started before that. It actually started before that because little by little you were receiving messages and your vibration was raising to a point where you could receive that message. And I think I know that Mary Kay had a very, very vital role in bringing me. I was in a very deep depression when I started Mary Kay, and Mary Kay brought me out of that depression, and it surrounded me with very positive people. And I know that's not everybody's experience when they do network marketing, but it was my experience. My unit that I was a part of, or am a part of. I shouldn't talk about it in the past tense, but like my whole being is telling me right now that I'm done with Mary Kay, and I actually don't want it to be that like that because um I love Mary Kay. I loved going to the meetings. I loved just being around very positive women. They uplifted me, and so I don't know if I'm totally I really everything in my being wants to say I'm not done with Mary Kay. Like at the very least, I'm gonna do be like a personal use consultant and just buy products for myself and my friends just to do self-care and stuff like that. But I just feel like I'm being pulled in a different direction than Mary Kay, and that has nothing to do with Mary Kay itself. I think Mary Kay is great, and I love their products and all those things. That's enough about Mary Kay. but but yeah, I think that that experience, because Mary Kay is a religious, not a religious, but like a they would consider themselves like a Christian infused organization. So I got a lot of Christian messages through Mary Kay that I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else because I was very opposed to like going to church and all those things. You would have never really found me in a church setting. And if you did find me in a church setting, I definitely would not have been open to any kind of messages that would have sent me on a path. I think because Mary Kay, it wasn't about the Christian aspect of it. It was about the cosmetics aspect of it, and that's what I was there for. But we did pray before every meeting, or my director prayed before every meeting, and I just kind of like whatever, like But I was there for that prayer, and so I'm very very grateful for my director and for Mary Kay and for everybody involved in Mary Kay because I believe it opened a spiritual channel. Like, unbeknownst to me, it opened a spiritual channel that allowed me to receive messages that I received later on. And me saying all this again, I'm gonna say it again. I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. This is like really, I feel very vulnerable right now. I'm not doing this because I want to be doing this. I'm doing this because I feel pulled to do it. Um, because I have never been a religious person. I've been like very vocal about that. And so it definitely doesn't make me feel super comfortable to be on YouTube talking about spirituality and talking about a spiritual journey. But the reason I think it's important is because right now I do believe that the world is going through a great spiritual awakening. And that doesn't mean that everybody is going to go through that awakening, but many, many, many people are. And the reason I feel like my message is important, because there's Alex Ferrari's already out there. There's a lot of people out there delivering this spiritual message. But the reason I think that my message is important is because I'm at the beginning of this journey, and I was an atheist. And I just think that there's a lot of people, we all are individuals and we all have individual messages, and we all have people who are going to relate to us on a very individual and personal um, basis. And so I think that there are people out there who are going to respond to me and who will have an awakening because they came across my video and my message resonated with them. So and I believe that. I know that. Like there's just something within me that like, and I've been trying to start a YouTube channel for years because I always thought that YouTube was a great idea, and I was always trying to kind of find niches within YouTube, and they never they never caught on, or they never necessarily felt right within me. Like I did it, but I didn't even stick with it because it didn't feel right within my heart and my soul. And I'm starting this YouTube channel not because I want a YouTube, not because I desire a YouTube channel. I'm starting this YouTube channel because I feel like spirit is calling me to start a YouTube channel, and it just is kind of like in alignment with what I had wanted previously. already. And I just feel like because spirit is calling me to do it, that it will be successful and that I will continue to do, like, I just feel in alignment with all of those things. So, um let's see. I wrote notes because I'm so nervous and I didn't want to forget what I wanted to say. So, yeah, the progression of thought on YouTube, that I was the progression of the messages that I was being sent through YouTube, where it started with near death experiences, and my initial thought was, okay, it was from a place of skepticism. It was like, okay, I mean, I had always heard of near death experiences. I never looked into them. I have a little bit of a cold. I don't know if you can tell. My dogs are still tripping, not tripping, playing. They probably feel joyful right now, but anyway, I was like, let me watch these near death experience videos and see if people's experiences line up, because if something is true, there is I really truly believe that there is only one truth. I think that, like I said, all religions have a bit of truth in them, including the Muslim faith. I believe uh I don't know why I singled out the Muslim faith, but I guess it's because I live in America, and definitely in America it's like, Muslims. But I think I think all religions have a bit of truth in it, and I think all religions are important, can be important. Come here, you guys. They're important because every individual is touched by different things, and so I think that every religion has its place. You know, whether it be bringing people towards God, or whether it be being a part of that contrast that is so necessary for our for this earth that we live on. And again, like, for spiritual beings, the goal is not peace on earth. The goal is harmony. Hey, Candy and Rosie, come here, girls. Come here. I know you're feeling things. I know you're feeling things. But the goal is not peace on earth. The goal is harmony. And harmony, it's the yin and the yang. That's the goal. So even when it comes to religion, even if a certain religion may send people astray, like, and when I say astray, I say that from a spiritual lens, from a lens that I believe is the truth. There is one truth, and I feel like people who have actually died and seen that truth are pretty darn reliable. Those people are pretty reliable. And those it's not like people die and they come back with like some crazy, it's not like their stories are like super wild and crazy and you're like, dude, that person, what they're saying they witnessed is like so much different than what this person said they witnessed. Like, their experiences pretty much gel up like a lot. Even people who have experienced hell, there's an explanation for that. Like, on the other side, all there is consciousness. It's conscious thought, right? It's like a dream state almost. Everybody's dream, like dreams, there's one truth to people, to dreams, right? To the reality of dreams in a broad sense, there's one truth. However, the truth is that we go to sleep and our subconscious mind takes over and we have a dream, right? And that the rules of that dream don't follow the rules of the reality that we wake up to, right? So that from a broad sense is the rule book by which everybody's dreams follows, right? But on an individual level, because we all have different states of our own conscious mind, we have different dreams, right? So the same could be said for when we die. when we die, if we in this life are very like, yes, there's a hell, if we're living in a place of shame, if we're vibrating in a place of shame and guilt, um, then when we die, that is more likely to be our experience. It's not for eternity though. It's our experience until we realize who we really are, till we realize that we are part of the divine, that we are each loving divine beings. Our experience is going to be, if we really truly believe in hell, our experience is going to be a hellish experience. If we believe in hell and we believe, it's all about what we believe because we create our reality, right? It's like authoring a book. However you believe that book should go is how the book is going to go. Have you ever heard authors say, "Well, that's not the journey." It's like somehow they know what the journey for this character is supposed to be, even though it's a fictional character, and they speak like the character is real. Well, the character is real in their mind because they believe it. So if I believe in hell and I know what I've done in life, or I know what I've been told in life, if I'm an atheist and I was raised in an evangelical family, and that family has always told me, well, since you're an atheist, you're going to hell, you're more likely to experience hell when you die because that's what you've been programmed to believe because you believe it. Now, if you're an atheist and you just say, and you believe that there is no hell, then you probably won't see hell. But if you, so in the back, you might say I'm an atheist, but if in the back of your mind your programming has been so strong that you're kind of like, you're doubting yourself. You're like, I'm an atheist, but everybody around me is telling me that there's a hell, so there is a chance. You know what I mean? Anyway, enough of that. You see what you believe, basically. You create your own reality. So if you believe in hell, you're gonna see hell. Um, let's see. Okay, so I went from near death experiences, and once I really believed that near death experiences were real, I started getting different messages from YouTube. And what by messages I say different videos. If you're meant to see this video in your feed, it will pop up in your feed. If you're new on your spiritual journey and this is the message that you need to hear, it's going to pop up in your feed. I'm not even worried about it. I'm not worried about who's going to see this video, who's going to think I'm crazy, because the people who are meant to see this video are going to see it. It's going to pop up in the YouTube feed. And you're going to be like, wow, I'm at the beginning of my spiritual journey too. Wow. And my thumbnail and my words and everything are going to match up with your vibration of what you're going through. You know, it's going to be a perfect match. So I believe it. I know it. um, so I went from the near death experiences to law of attraction, right? So I've been listening to Abraham Hicks a lot lately, and um, Abraham Hicks has been around for a while, and I won't totally go into right now. I'm not going to go into who Abraham Hicks is because it that goes deep, and some of you may not be ready for that message. But Abraham Hicks she talks about the law of attraction an awful lot. And that is huge because for me personally, there are things in my life that have been huge for me, right? Um, and they're not positive things. People close to me have done things that are very hurtful to me. Um, and they're not fake, they're real. But what I've learned is that it doesn't matter. And that is the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing because it doesn't matter. Because imagine you're a Sims character. You created the Sims and you're watching your Sims characters run around and things are happening. Do you care what happens to your Sims characters? as the creator of that computer or the player of the game, do you care what happens to your characters in Grand Theft Auto? No, right? Well, you just steal a car and they're going, hey, and all this stuff, but we don't really care as the people playing the game, like on an emotional level. We're not thinking, man, how does that lady feel? I always did. That's why I hated my boys, my kid, because I have 4 children. I hated them playing that game because I always kind of did feel bad for those characters. But people wouldn't continue to play Grand Theft Auto if they cared about how people feel in that game. And that's basically how things are. Like in the spirit world, we're here. The reason they don't care is because it's all about what we're learning from the experience, right? So the experiences that we go through are very painful, and that emotion is there for a reason. It's a call to action. The emotion is a call to action, right? So if someone does something very hurtful to me, it's not about like what they did to me. It's about, okay, you made me feel a certain way. Now, what am I going to do with that feeling? What is that feeling telling me about my deep seated fears? And what am I going to do about that? Because at the end of the day, the goal is to resolve our issues through love. That's the goal. How am I going to resolve this issue through love? Because when we resolve, the reason why is because when we resolve issues through love, we impact other people. Every person we touch in our lives, we impact. And when we learn to live our lives through love, like I'll give you an example. Like I heard somewhere, the absence of love is love, because when we know what it feels like to not feel love, we feel called to give that love to the people that we meet in our lives, right? So then we touch this person, and we touch that person, and we're making all of these little impacts on everybody that we touch. And when we do that, we raise the vibration of the people that we touch around us. And so that's the law of attraction. Well, the law of attraction is girls, girls. The law of attraction is basically that um, we attract what we think about. Me thinking about how this person hurt me, I'm going to attract more hurt, probably from that person, probably from other people around me. I'm just attracting hurt and pain. And it doesn't matter that I'm justified in feeling that feeling. The system that we're living in only knows that we're focused on this feeling. And so we attract that feeling towards us. It's crazy. It's crazy. But once you learn how the system works, you can hack the system like Neo in the Matrix. Ooh. Um, let's see. So law of attraction. So I'm starting this YouTube channel because I wanted to document this journey, because I know there are other people who are waking up and starting their journey. I'm not someone who's been meditating for 20 years. I'm not someone who had a huge, crazy, wild near death experience where I've seen the other side. I'm not someone who's gone to India and talked to yogis. Like, I'm starting this YouTube channel because I know that there are a lot of people who can relate to where I'm at in my journey, and I wanted to start documenting that journey now instead of a year from now, because a year from now I'm going to be in a different place. I can relate. I am much closer to ground zero in my journey. I'm much closer to ground zero, and so I can relate to people who are there, who are at that point in their mission, who are like who are still very stuck in, this person did this to me, and why can't anybody see that they did something to me? Like I was just in so much need of validation that I was never going to get. I really needed about like literally one. I don't want to go too deep into it because it involves other people and I don't want to tell their business. But it was almost like there was a veil dropped over, and it probably, and this is probably true. There was a veil. I felt like, from my perspective, I felt like there was a veil over these people's eyes, and they were doing all these things collectively, and they were acting like, "What do you mean? What do you mean we hurt you? What do you mean?" And I'm going like, I'm just like, why can none of you see that that's horrible? I'm just going to give you an example. Someone very close to me years ago, and it still has an emotional effect on me to this day. Someone close to me years ago told me if I'm not going to be any good to anybody, I might as well commit suicide. I've had passive suicidal ideation my whole life. And that comment didn't push me toward wanting to commit suicide, but it was very much so like, are you serious right now? Like, are you serious? And no one was like, man, that was out of line. Like, no one stood up for me. No one. And so I'm literally sitting back going like, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Like, I'm clearly not the one in the wrong here. Like, clearly, that person who said that to me still to this day has not apologized for it. And I had to get over I had to get over it. And it's not that I have to get over it because I'm the one in the wrong. I had to get over it because the more I focus on it and the more I put energy towards that, the more I'm going to bring it. All they did was keep coming and keep coming and keep coming with this same energy for years, coming and coming and coming with this energy, with the energy that matches. You should just commit suicide. It was the same energy, different message, different things that they were doing, but it was that same energy. And not, never an apology, never a, oh wow, I was really out of line there. Like, just same energy, right? And the reason for it was because I was focused on it. I was so hurt and so angry and feeling so invalidated because no one, it seemed like people in my circle of friends or people outside of, I mean, these are family problems I'm talking about. I'm just going to put it out there. These are family problems, but people outside of my family were like, they said what? They did what? Like, oh my God, like, just stop talking to them. Like, they were like, people outside of my family were like, it was clear as day that the things that they were doing were so out of line, right? Within my family, nothing. Within my family, it was like, yeah, there's never going to be any accountability. We're never going to validate and it just made me angrier and angrier and angrier. And the angrier I got, the less I was myself, and the more those things started coming at me, because the law of attraction is, if you focus on a certain negative thought, we're going to send you a message that'll make you uncomfortable. Basically, the more you focus on that negative thought, the more it's going to come to you, and the more you ignore it, the stronger we're going to send that message to you. The stronger we're going to send the message. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. If your problem is like, I can't find a good man to date, I can't find a man that treats me right, I can't find a woman that treats me right. Okay. There's a reason why. There's a reason why you're always coming across a certain kind of man or a certain kind of woman. And if you don't get to the core of why that is, and that reason has to do with you. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't have to do with right and wrong. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means because that there's an unresolved issue that you have to deal with. And until you deal with that issue, the men and women that you come across are going to get worse and worse and worse, to the point where I ended up dealing with a narcissistic guy who created a lot of havoc in my life until I really was like, okay, all right, like I need to, number one, I need to stop dating altogether. And while I'm not dating, I need to really do some healing on myself, because I need to figure out what is at the core of why I'm attracting these kind of people, because a narcissistic person in your life will really screw up your whole entire life. So, yeah, that's the lesson I learned. Okay. Um I wrote, I feel that my perspective, I feel I want to share my perspective because I have a unique perspective, and I already said that. I have been an atheist for and many of you are at the beginning of your journey. Many of you are at the beginning of your journey. Many of you are atheists. Um and I'm sharing my journey because, first of all, and this is why I want to tell you, I'm at the beginning of this journey. I'm 3 months in, so I'm learning a lot. I don't know everything. So my messages are gonna come closer and closer. Stop. First of all, we're all on a journey, and that journey never ends. We're gonna be on the journey until we die. There is no point A and point B. There's point A and crossing back over and going back home, because the other side is home. This that we're living right now, this is temporary. This is a temporary life where we're supposed to be receiving messages to help our souls expand and help the universe expand and grow. So this is very temporary, and we're going to go back home. And I also want to say quickly that one thing I learned about, like, when I was sick, is I learned that as you get closer and closer to death physically, you become more and more at peace. And so there really should not be fear of death. I'm not scared of death at all. I'm not scared, because the closer you get to death, it's actually before you get to where you're almost about to die. That's when you feel the most pain. When you're closest to death, you don't feel pain. You feel a lot of peace. And I'm not saying that. Please don't anybody. I know I've talked about suicide a lot, and I probably should have put a warning out about that. But I think that when you come in alignment with your soul's purpose for being here on this planet, you begin to enjoy being here. So, my message to anybody out there who is feeling like they don't want to be here, my message is to begin the process of coming in alignment. And coming in alignment, what that means is that we have our human bodies here, and we have our higher selves, our souls. And our souls are in this human body, but there's also a part of our souls that are still in heaven, right? So our higher selves know exactly what we need to do to get the best results, right? Our human selves don't know that. So when our human selves are like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, right? We become misaligned, because our human self is doing things that our higher self knows is not in our best interest. So we become misaligned. So when all people mean when they talk about coming into alignment is our higher self knowing what's best for us, and our human self doing the things that our higher self knows what is best. So now we're in alignment. Our human self is in alignment with our higher self. I hope that makes sense. Um, So I hope you guys can relate. I hope the people that can relate to this find this video. And I hope you subscribe to my channel. And I hope you like the video. And I'm gonna be putting out videos. I don't have a schedule. I don't have a schedule. I hate to put out a schedule um because then I have to stick to it and I like don't, I will be putting out videos though. So subscribe to my channel, like my video, and grow with me. People who are at the beginning of this journey, um, grow with me and learn with me. And um, my definitely the content of my videos are going to change as I'm changing. I'm because I'm already 3 months into this process, and all I do is sit at home day by day and listen to videos on spiritual growth and stuff like that. I've learned a lot. So I'm kind of trying to like in my videos, I'm kind of trying to backtrack a little bit so that people who are at the beginning of their journey, I'm not speaking over your head. But if you are feeling a lot of discontent in your life, don't even think of it as I want to go on a spiritual journey. If you are feeling a lot of discontent in your life, if you have tried to be the best you can be and you've always tried to do the right thing, but you feel like you've never gotten desirable results and you're frustrated by that, if you have passive suicidal ideation and you feel like you just don't fit into this world and you just want to go, you don't know where you want to go to, but you know you don't want to be here and you just want to get out of here. If you're having any of these feelings, this video is right for you. And join me on this journey because ultimately the spirit world wants the world to wake up. We are in a reality that doesn't match our who we are on the inside. It's not matching our soul's reality. And we need to stop looking at this as reality. We are alive in heaven. That's where we're the most alive. And we come down to earth and we live this existence that's not true life. It's not true life. And that's why it feels uncomfortable. And we have it backwards as humans because we feel like we come into this world and we're birthed into this world and we're alive and like this is my birthday and this is the day I started living and then we're like then we die and like our life was from here to here and then everything else is death, and that's not how reality is. Reality is flipped. True life is being on the other side in heaven. And this is not death. What we're living right now is not death, but it's an alternate reality, from actual reality. So, subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I look forward to creating a relationship with each one of you. Um, and I will talk to you later. I'm gonna end the stream. Bye.